Hi everyone, welcome back to the Happiness Experiment. Today we'll not be talking about happiness, but another very important topic that actually is very much in alignment with our happiness, which is confidence. So think about this video as kind of the video you need if you want to become the person you've always looked up to. If you want to finally be able to feel like I can be the version of myself that I truly want to be. Whether it is someone who's doing things externally in the external world that you don't feel confident enough to do, whether it's to do with qualities that you feel like you're lacking, whether it's to do with an emotional state that you would like to achieve. I know for me, one of the goals that I would have in the past was I always saw my goal self as someone that was really, really peaceful and really, really calm and happy and fulfilled within themselves. So it could be whatever it is that you're picturing the ideal future version of yourself to be. This video will help you navigate exactly how to feel like you will be there. And so, what is confidence? Confidence is, I always see confidence as however small the gap is between the version of yourself you are now and the version of yourself that you want to ideally be. So the smaller that gap is, the bigger your confidence. If you feel like your ultimate version of yourself that you want to be is way up there and you are way down here, then your confidence is going to be quite low. If you feel like you're quite close to the version of yourself that you want to be, then your confidence is probably very high. And so in this video, I want to talk about how you can get closer and closer to that version of yourself that you want to be. I'm actually going to give you practical steps of how to get there. So basically, with this understanding of confidence being about the smallness in that gap, there's two ways to achieve more confidence, and I will be talking about both today. So the first is becoming more and more like your desired self. So becoming more and more like that ultimate version of yourself that you want to be. Second of all, is to actually question which of those goals that you've set as your highest self you actually need to fulfill. Because very often we attach our sense of self-worth or our sense of value, and therefore our sense of confidence or our sense of self-love to external things, so to external goals. And that is not necessarily beneficial for our sense of confidence. So very often it's also about kind of lowering those expectations. Not to say that you can't achieve them, but basically just kind of saying, do I really need to be a millionaire? Do I really need to be this type of career path? Do I really need to look a certain way? Or am I just setting these expectations because that's what I think is actually going to make me confident, when maybe that's not necessarily what will make you confident. So what is confidence, or what does confidence actually look like to me? When I think of true, authentic confidence, I think of three things. I think first of all of a feeling of I am capable of achieving the goals that I set for myself. So confidence to me is feeling that if you have a goal, that you have the confidence in yourself that you are capable to achieve that goal. That's the first one. Second one is feeling resilient to handle setbacks in case things don't end up going your way. So confidence to me, second of all, is that even if things do end up going to shit, like you do end up failing or things do end up completely falling to bits, that you feel resilient enough to handle that, and that you feel a sense of not only that you can handle it, but that you can actually learn from it and grow from it, so that actually you can turn it into something good. The feeling that you have that resilience in you. Thirdly, I feel like true authentic confidence is a feeling of I am already worthy as I am, no matter if I end up achieving my goals. So a confident person to me is someone that, even though they believe in their capacity, even though they can turn a setback or a downfall into something good, and they have the resilience to carry through, they don't necessarily attach their sense of self-worth to whatever goal they end up accomplishing. So therefore, the achievement that they end up making comes from a genuine place of fun and detachment, rather than a sense of, if I don't get this goal, then I'm not worthy or I'm not lovable, which unfortunately, a lot of people that seem confident on the outside end up not necessarily being confident on the inside because of this third goal, because they might be really successful and they might appear confident, but if one of the things that they are supposedly successful in ends up falling through, they lose their confidence or they lose their sense of self-worth. And to me, a truly confident and authentic confident person is someone that can achieve those goals and can go after them and enjoy the process of getting there. But if something doesn't work out or they end up losing an accomplishment, it doesn't necessarily touch their core sense of worth. So I want to now talk about how you can work on each of these three things. So how you can practically put these three goals into action to actually start working on your confidence. If you see me looking up, you probably already see this, but I'm my camera is leaning against my laptop so that I don't forget anything. So the first point was that you are someone that really feels capable of achieving their goals. And so how do we work on this first step? I always say it's impossible to be confident in something that you haven't done before. Confidence is not necessarily just blind confidence or a leap of faith in yourself. Confidence to me is something that you really built with the building blocks of trying things that you haven't done before, and so therefore becoming more confident, but because of learning and growing and taking on the task of just trying to become better at something. And so how to practically work on that first one to feel like you're actually capable of doing things is to allow yourself to take action, to become more disciplined, and to, for example, to give you a practical challenge, try to think about what are my future goals? What do I actually want from life? And breaking that into smaller goals and then just taking action for those smaller goals. So for example, if I have a long-term goal of buying a house, which is a goal of mine, then probably I need to save up money. I need to have a financial plan. If I have no confidence in my ability to buy a house, then and I think that I have to be confident, then I'm probably not going to take any action. But if I think, okay, I'm really not confident right now, but still it's a goal that I want, let me think about how to get there, break it down into steps and into an action plan, and then follow up on these steps by actually doing it, by actually going to the bank, going to an investor, going to someone that knows about money, asking them for advice, learning about finances, and therefore I will start to feel more confident in my capacity to buy a house one day. Same with working out, for example. If you feel really unconfident in the gym, you're not going to become confident until you set that first step into the gym, being really unconfident, having no idea what to do, but showing up every day and seeing every day as an opportunity to learn something more, therefore gaining a little bit of that confidence. So don't expect yourself to believe in yourself without having anything to believe in yet. So without having achieved anything yet, but see it more as having belief or confidence in the capacity or your potential. So think about it as, I am not confident in the gym now, but I believe that I have the potential to become confident in the gym one day. So I'm going to show up every day to fulfill that potential. I'm going to allow myself to be humble and see that as a way of learning. So the steps for that are make a plan and follow the plan, basically, very quickly put. The second step of confidence is feeling like you're someone that can handle failure and someone that's resilient. With this one, I would say expose yourself to failure and rejection. So this is basically a chance to overcome your fear of failure and rejection. A lot of people don't end up growing or expanding their zone of tolerance against rejection or failure because they're too afraid to fail. Therefore, they can't really handle failure when it ends up coming their way. And so they do everything they can to not have to fail. And therefore, you're always staying small in that zone of comfort where you don't have confidence in yourself because you've never tried something, because you're afraid of failing. So a really good approach for me in that was really purposely trying to see getting rejected and failing as something I wanted to experience, because then I could overcome my fear of it and grow my zone of tolerance against it. So do things that you know probably will be failing, like a failure. Try things that probably won't work, send an email to a company asking for a job that you probably will get rejected by, and see that as not as a way of like, I need to get this thing, but as a way of, I want to become more comfortable with the idea of getting rejected or failing, to become more resilient, basically. The third one, the last one, very important, is to detach your sense of worth from your achievements, accomplishments, external things, external validation, and instead place it within yourself, depending on how much you unconditionally love yourself. So think of the third step of confidence, kind of like filling up a cup. So you're wanting to fill up your cup of self-love, self-confidence, and the thing you put into your cup is the love yourself, the love you give yourself. So the more unconditional love you give yourself, the more that sense of worth will fill up. And it really depends on that. If you feel like you're worth nothing, it's probably because you're not loving yourself at all. You're not filling up that own cup by sending yourself unconditional love every single day. Also, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that if you look at self-love, self-worth as a friendship you have with yourself, that's how I've always looked at it, and that's the way that it's always helped me, is kind of thinking about it as I am in a relationship with myself. The more I love myself, the more I will love myself back, if that makes sense. If I treat myself like crap every day, I'm not going to love myself because I'm treating myself like crap every day. But if I am kind with myself and I am loving towards myself and I do good things for my future self, then my future self is going to go, hey girl, I appreciate you. I really appreciate the fact that you had a good 8 hours of sleep last night. That makes me today feel really good. So thank you for that. Whereas if I am, not treating myself with a lot of respect and I only have 5 hours of sleep and I wake up tired the next morning, I'm not really going to be happy with myself. And so building that sense of self-worth or self-love depends on how much you actually give love to yourself through words, through action, through lifestyle. So a practical tip for that, I have 2 practical things you can practice. A lot of pract in a sentence. First of all, ask yourself quite often the sentence, what would I do right now if I 100% unconditionally love myself? And then do whatever that is. Second thing, take a picture of yourself when you were a little kid. And every time you are being hard on yourself or you're feeling self-critical, just look at the picture and think, how would I treat this child who made the decision that I just made? Like, would I be as hard on them, or would I be more encouraging, more loving? Would I actually see their worth in the mistake they've just made, or would I see their worth in them just being a kid and deserving love? So I hope this video helped you. Confidence for me has always been a very important thing, not in a cocky way, but in a truly, like, in the sense of having inner strength. And if this video spoke to you and you feel like you want to work on your confidence, you want to finally be that person that reaches their goals effortlessly, that feels capable of handling setbacks, that feels resilient, and that has that deep sense of love within themselves, I have a confidence course, an online confidence course that will help you step by step with exercises, with tools, with a planner, truly help you work towards that complete, authentic, unconditional self-love and self-confidence. I've had a lot of great feedback from this course, and it's also on a temporary discount because of my birthday, which is today. So it will be on for the next few days. It will still be a really good discount of, I think, 30 or 40%. So I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in exploring that. And otherwise, good luck with the steps that I gave you in this video today. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.